Hello, this is Joe Pryor, the virtual real estate team in Oklahoma, where we specialize in real estate investments in the Oklahoma City and the Tulsa market. I talked earlier in a video about where tenants really prefer the new construction. They love the open floor plans, they love the energy efficiency. But the other thing I kind of hinted at a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit more about it, is why new construction pricing and existing homes pricing is totally different. Now, I've been certified as an appraiser in my career, not because I wanted to appraise, but I also wanted to understand the details of appraisals. I want to know how to measure a house. I want to know what really counted as square footage, about what you take out, every aspect of it, so that I could be something that is more intelligent when it comes to talking to you about what's good and what's bad about real estate, or what's real or what's true about real estate. But here's the thing, if I take existing construction and I'm an appraiser, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find comparable properties as close as possible, usually within a mile or less of that. Now, I certainly need it within that neighborhood, maybe two properties within the neighborhood, one without being in that neighborhood. And I want to compare those prices, and it's apples to apples. In other words, I've got to be within a certain range on the age of the house, on the square footage of the house. I've got to be as close to like kind as possible. And so in that particular respect, that's the way existing works. Now, new construction, on the other hand, does not work that way. So in other words, a developer, for instance, buys the raw land. That's it. And then what he's got to do is pay for it, and then he's got to develop it. He's got to put in the streets. He's got to put in the utilities to each and every individual lot. He's got to get it platted out. He's got to get approvals. He's got to get the city inspecting it, making sure that all the drainage and everything is just fine on it in case there's a heavy rain or whatever. And then at that point, then a builder comes in, and maybe it's the same developer builder, but mostly it's a separate builder. Then what he's got to do is buy the lot, so there's a profit involved there. He's got to buy materials, he's got to hire labor, and he's got to make a certain amount of money to make the bank happy because he's paying interest. Now, big builders are working through Wall Street, so it's a little bit different, but everybody has got to make a profit to stay in business. Now, what's happened post-COVID, and I mentioned this before, is that there was a shark feeding frenzy going on with people sitting at home, not spending their money, and all of a sudden decided they want a bigger house, or they wanted a single family versus a condo, or they want to get out of apartments, whatever it happened to be. And people were wildly overbidding individual existing homes. I saw homes with 20 bids. I saw homes that were listed at $250,000 and went for $310,000. It was nuts. And if it didn't appraise, which it didn't, then they paid the difference in order to close on those homes. That's how crazy this auction mentality was. But in new construction, no, that didn't happen at all. This is why it was better at that time to buy new construction, because the price was the price. It didn't have to have multiple bids. It typically had just one. And so in the respect of finding existing homes that are priced so far below a new construction in the same square footage is really not very possible at this point. And so in that particular respect, it's why one of the big reasons we emphasize new construction to our investors, because you have warranties. It's never been used. It's more desirable to tenants, but also it is not more expensive than a lot of 10 or 20-year-old homes that are going to have a lot of maintenance and not going to rent as well. That's why we emphasize new construction. The price is right.